Good morning, Broncos country. Welcome into 104.3 Fans Postgame Live. DMac, Rachel Hill hanging out with you as the Broncos get a W in London, 21-17 against the Jacksonville Jaguars. DMac, did we finally see from the Broncos what Denver has been craving so much to see since they got Russell Wilson?
You needed a quarterback who wouldn't give up, okay? You needed a quarterback who could lead you on a fourth quarter comeback if needed. You needed that. Let's see what they did on third down. Let me just check third down really quick, Rachel, where they were on third down. Sorry. Third down. Oh, my God, they were terrible on third down. They were only 2 for 11. That's what you need a quarterback for, too. But, at the end of the day, Rachel, you had Russell Wilson, who did have a much better game than Trevor Lawrence. He did. And that interception Trevor Lawrence threw in the end zone was brutal. Great play by Justin Simmons. And they gave a game away to the Giants, Rachel, in almost identical fashion last week when ATN fumbled into the end zone against the Giants early in the game. But they're not good enough to give away points. But they had a lead, and the Broncos came back and down with 4 minutes to go, down by a touchdown. I mean, they did a great job, a field goal rather. Rachel, they did it. They did exactly what you would hope, and they got exactly out of Russell Wilson what you need to get out of him. Good job, great job by everybody.
That's what you do. $250 million for a quarterback right there. There's still a lot of question marks with this team because, yes, the Jacksonville Jaguars aren't a great team by any means, and the schedule only gets tougher. But let's discuss the fact that Russell Wilson had 3 touchdowns, okay? 3. Well, I guess Latavius Murray had one of them. But my point is they were able to complete it in the red zone, which is something that this team has lacked so much of the past couple of weeks. And Russell Wilson was able to lead them down there and able to score in the red zone.
Yeah, it was a horrific start to the game. I mean, boy, oh boy. So it's interesting, Rachel, because against the Colts, I think whatever the game was, he was 10 for 10, right? 10 for 10.
Yep.
Incredible start. Was that? No, maybe it wasn't the Colts, it was somebody else. But whatever. You know what I'm talking about. 10 for 10, everything's great. And then the rest of the game was a disaster. Well, here, Rachel, everything was a disaster. They didn't have a first down through their first 4 drives, okay? And then they really did get it together. And Russell even had a couple of drops there. Like, Cortland Sutton should have had that catch earlier, but it didn't matter. They pressed the ball deeper more often, not connecting. And finally, just a gargantuan play to KJ Hamler, which is one of the reasons I've said I don't want to see them trade KJ Hamler. I don't. And you know what? This may impact everything they do. You may see them not trade Bradley Chubb and get him a big deal now. You may see that, Rachel. You definitely saved jobs here. There is no doubt about it. Hackett will be fine. Will they replace Butch Barry, their offensive line coach? I don't know. But Hackett saved his job 100%. If there was any question about it, you did it. You saved your gig right there. And boy, oh boy, did we have him getting kicked out of town, Rachel, after that, in the first half.
I know, I'm with you. But now the question is the bye coming at a bad time? Injuries, I understand. Hopefully players can get healthy. We'll also keep everybody updated on Cushenberry. He was downgraded to out during the game with a hip injury. We'll keep you updated here on Postgame Live or DenverFan.com. But they got their momentum back. Now they go on a bye. Does this actually hurt the Broncos?
No. This is great. You go on the bye with some rest. They'll be involved with the trade deadline coming up on Tuesday one way or the other. I don't know. Maybe, Rachel, maybe they'll even be buyers. Melvin Gordon, 9 carries for 29 yards. Just kind of a pain in the neck. You may see him get dumped here. Albert O, of course, will be gone if they can get anything for him. Jerry Jeudy, another really strong game. He had a really good game last week. He had a really good game today. I mean, I don't think you want to get rid of the best weapon you have. Cortland Sutton has just, quietly, gone down a silent path. He's only good on 50-50 balls. He's not a running option like Jerry Jeudy. He doesn't have the speed. I think you keep Jerry Jeudy and KJ Hamler, whether or not you trade Bradley Chubb right now, and you would certainly deal Melvin Gordon if you could. So those are the issues they have. It'll be interesting what they do with Bradley Chubb now. Now, this is a huge, huge win for the Broncos. Gargantuan win for the Broncos. The Jaguars, let me tell you about the Jaguars. They are not a bad team, but they are their own worst enemy. They just, golly, man, do they make some dumb mistakes. And the Broncos should not have been in this game whatsoever. The Jaguars are not a good team. I still think they're better than the Jets. Mason doesn't, but whatever. But, I mean, the Broncos, Rachel, just really quick, how many penalties do they have? 12 penalties for 81 yards. 12 for 81. Yep. I mean, that is terrible. The Broncos only converted 2 third downs, but they were 2 for 3 on 4th down. I liked how they just pushed that last 4th down across to get the W. And, I mean, without a doubt, the most important thing the Broncos were able to do, without a doubt, Rachel, is finish in the red zone. They were the worst team in the red zone. And they went 3 for 3 today because they were much more committed to just pounding away, running the ball, not making it too complicated, and it paid off. Good for them.
Russ gave a Broncos Country Less Red on ESPN.
Oh, yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. And you know what, Rachel, you win the game, then you can promote Bose headphones and Nike cleats and say, corny slogans. And nobody cares, man. You won. If you win, you can do all of that. The problem has been that he's been so tone deaf on so many other occasions. So, no, this bye week's coming at a great time because Wilson's not, by the way, bad reporting by ESPN to report that he had ice on his shoulder. Instead, it was heat. Rachel, that is really, really terrible reporting because ice would indicate that you're done for the day. Heat is that you're trying to keep things going. So, no, this bye is coming at a great time for the Broncos and a great way to go into it.
Wait. So you're saying that the reporting was wrong and that he did have heat on and not ice? Yeah,
she corrected, Laura Rutledge, I believe. She corrected her report at the beginning of the second half. But at the beginning of the game, they reported that it was ice. It wasn't. And I'm sure the Broncos PR got to her and say, hey, listen, you just reported really wildly the wrong thing. And they were even questioning that on the broadcast. They were like, oh, that's interesting. You really wouldn't put ice on it at this point. You'd put heat. And that is exactly what they were doing. So a little slip up there on the broadcast. I don't know. I mean, I think those pants and jersey combinations look horrible, but
they're going to rock them.
Right.
They were certainly good luck in London, everybody. Get used to this mixed-matched white jersey or whatever the heck it is, the mismatched jersey combo, because we're going to be seeing it a lot now.
Right.
Let's talk about
I feel good for the team. I feel good for the fans. This had just a brutal start to it. Holy cow, did they need this? This is gee whiz. I mean, and listen, I saw social media. I was watching the beginning of this game. I mean, holy cow. I mean, wow. And rightfully so. And a lot of people might say, the Jags this, the Jags that. I don't care. You're down by a field goal with 4 minutes to go, deep in your own territory. You got to go, Rachel. You got to do something. And they didn't waste any time. They went up deep right off the bat, and there you go, man. So, I'm pumped. I'm excited. Good for them.
Greg Dulcich was phenomenal for this Broncos team for Russell Wilson. My goodness, did he come in at the right time in order to make some huge plays?
Yeah, and he was open on a deep play earlier in the game in the fourth quarter. KJ Hamler just got off his route and kind of ran into him, which is bad on KJ. You can't do that. Dulcich had his guy beat. He was wide open, and KJ made things muddy. That ball was not to KJ. It was to Dulcich. The play was for Dulcich. So KJ, I don't know, man. They're still getting to know each other a little bit. Aside from that, 4 catches, 87 yards on 5 targets, 21-8 per. Nice job, young man. And that's a incredibly productive game. That's a weapon right there. That's exactly what they wanted to get out of him. So it's nice to see that click. The Broncos defense, though, Rachel, their rush defense, they did give up 191 yards on the ground and 156 yards to ATN, and they still won. I mean, that's awesome, and they won because they got 2, Rachel, critical interceptions, one by Simmons and then one by who got that? It was Deshaun Williams, wasn't it? Or
K'Wan Williams.
K'Wan Williams. I'm sorry. K'Wan Williams. So 2 just absolutely critical turnovers, and they just couldn't get that against the Jets. They were this close so many times against the Jets. They couldn't get it. So great combo meal by the offense and the defense to combine for this win today. And the special there were a lot of disaster moments, Rachel. I mean, you got to delay a game on a kickoff. I mean, have
you ever seen that before?
How does that even happen? How do you get a delay a game on a kickoff? I mean, how, what, why? Yikes. But whatever. That's special teams foolishness. You had Montreal Washington fielding the ball at the 5-yard line, Rachel. You want to talk about something dumb and risky. That's right up there. But it doesn't matter because you won the game. It doesn't matter because you won the game.
Yeah. All 3 of the Broncos wins this season have been fourth quarter comebacks. Russell Wilson has now led 27 in his career. My goodness, Jake Shapiro, but spooky back on Twitter. What's your confidence level in this offense when they come back from the bye?
Well, they certainly figured out a better way to do things. And one of those, and you could see it. And the Giants did this against the Jags too. Rachel, they got to move. They got to hurry up. They got to move quicker. It doesn't have to be a full-time hurry-up offense, but there has to be a sense of urgency to make plays. They pointed out on the broadcast, Russell Wilson still has a difficult time seeing the middle of the field. That was pointed out again. And they're like, oh, how does he miss that? He misses it because he doesn't look for it in the first place. It's just not his thing. So, okay, fine. So to combat that, Rachel, you got to move. You got to run the ball and be committed to that. Today, 30 passes, 28 carries for the team. I mean, not incredible. 28 for 101, 3.5 per, but 2 rushing touchdowns, finishing with the running game in the red zone, which is absolutely key. And not asking Russ to do too much. And frankly, listen, here's what Russ is good at. He's good at throwing the ball deep. The Broncos have a lot of speed, and they run the ball pretty good. So if you want, and you can't turn the ball over, right? You can't make those mistakes. You can't fumble. Russ, threw a dumb interception, but at least it was early, and he could have been intercepted on the first play of the game, which could have been a pick 6. So you just can't be stupid with what you do. And after a terrible start, like the worst start you could imagine, you weren't down that much because you got that unbelievable interception by Justin Simmons. Because the Jaguars, you want to talk about dumb. Holy cow. They got a lot of talent on that team, but they're a stupid team too, Rachel. So, and we talked all week how they had a mediocre defense. They should be so much better offensively. It's ridiculous with the weapons they have and who they have that they're not better offensively. But hey, that's their problem, not ours.
Very true. And it may not be a great Jacksonville team. And we're not saying this team's headed to the Super Bowl, but a win is a win as we welcome in Cecil Lammey. DMac, Cecil, truthfully, this is exactly what Broncos country has been craving. And I don't know, what was the best play of the game, Cecil, in your opinion?
Well, DMac hit it on the head. The best play to me was multiple plays. It was running the damn ball and doing it from under center and, going back and forth with people on Twitter. It's like DMac said, Russell Wilson's not going to see that stuff. You have to design it for him to see it. When you use tempo as a weapon, when you use Greg Dulcich, for everyone's like, he's blind, he doesn't see, he can't see over the line. That's on Hackett. Russell Wilson ain't going to grow. Okay, so you have to design things better, and that 98-yard drive, it seems like a dream, that 98-yard drive. But say the plays to Dulcich, greatest plays. To me, I'm going to say the commitment to the ground game. It was one of my 3 keys at DenverFan.com this week. You have to be committed to the ground game. They had balance today. They didn't go overwhelmingly pass, and I loved it.
DMac, for you, what was the play of the game?
The play of the if it's just one play, well, I guess I'll say the play of the game.
The Hamler shot.
The deep pass to KJ Hamler. You know, but listen, you don't win this game without Justin Simmons intercepting that ball in the end zone, okay? But that being said, the play of the game, ultimately at the end of the game, you needed to get a drive that resulted in points, and the shot to KJ Hamler was perfect. It was an odd game for Russell Wilson. There were a couple deep shots that were underthrown or off target. Then there were a couple that were actually overthrown, which I was like, oh, okay, that's curious. And then right there with KJ, man, that was just perfect. I mean, it was laid out there just absolutely perfect. It was the right play call, right routes, right trajectory on the ball, just everything about it. And good for KJ for, hanging on to it for sure. So I guess that was the play of the game. But listen, man, that's Simmons' play. I cannot emphasize what a clutch. I mean, first of all, it's a combination. Horrible decision by Trevor Lawrence. I mean, I don't know what he was looking at. And I believe that was first down, too, which is nuts. But still, that is a short, fast, hard pass. And for Simmons to be able to snag it right there, just remarkable. You're down 14-0 if you don't make that play, and who knows where you go from there. So the play of the game, KJ Hamler, but you can't win without that Justin Simmons pick.
Especially after comes after that taunting call. Did Cortland Sutton just become wide receiver number 3, Cecil?
I mean, I think that's a little bit bold to say.
Dude, he may be 4. He may be receiver number 4.
Well, it ain't behind Montreal Washington because Montreal Washington sucks. But I'll talk about Cortland Sutton.
Jerry Jeudy, KJ Hamler, Greg Dulcich, Cortland Sutton.
Oh, target number 4. Yeah, but wide receiver number 4. Listen, let's just be honest about everything. Okay, they don't have a number 1 wide receiver. They never did, even with Tim Patrick healthy. We had this great debate. Do they have 3 number 1s before the season? And I was like, hey, they might, because Timmy Pats could be a number 1, and Cortland Sutton could be a number 1, and Jerry Jeudy could be a number 1. After watching this season and then just seeing Sutton, like, thinking about scoring on that drop, like, he's not a number 1. He doesn't go get the ball. He's lost the explosiveness above the rim, to go get those jump passes. So, where is he at in the pecking order? I don't know. It seems like either they were featuring Jerry Jeudy for a trade, which doesn't seem likely now, or they've just figured out Jerry Judy's their better option from a wide receiver standpoint. And I want to see more KJ Hamler on the deep shots, on the end arounds, the jet sweeps. Use that speed. You saw it coming into play late in that game.
Oh, yeah. Lots of people in the comments are putting in their opinions, too, and lots of people are writing high on KJ Hamler after a great game. I also did see Nick Bonito for Bradley Chubb. Use Nick Bonito more. Do we like it or not like it? DMac?
Well,
Cecil, go for it.
Well, he was soft against the run, okay, and they were soft against Travis Etienne, who is a stud. But Bonito, you see him stack moves. He definitely was ferocious out there. You like his pass rush moves. These are all things we knew, but he's got to be better against the run, or else you're going to run at him, and that's exactly what Jacksonville did.
Yeah, right now Benito's just a situational guy.
Right.
I'm surprised they didn't run at Bonito more often, even on 3rd and long, and just use Lawrence in the RPO to run. I am a little surprised they didn't do that. In fact, Lawrence only 3 carries for 15 yards. Hey, right on. Because, the way the Giants actually beat the Jaguars is because Daniel Jones became a running machine. Daniel Jones ran for over 100 yards over the Jaguars. And I think they could have got that production out of Trevor Lawrence today, and they don't want to, obviously. They want to protect him. So, okay, cool. I'm glad. I'll take it. That sounds good. Bonito is a situational guy, rotational guy right now. But, hey, man, he had a huge play today. So props to him, man. I mean, it's good to be good when you need to be good. But, hey, let's not get it twisted. Guys, we gave up 191 rushing yards, 156 to ETN. I mean, that's not good. but Trevor Lawrence was 18-31 for $133, $114 because you take away some sacks. I mean, that is absurdly good. So you get pressure, you stop them from throwing. That is amazingly good, and you get 2 picks. So the secondary of the Broncos and their pass rush gets a huge gold star today.
If you're still able to get a first, and Cecil, we talked about this in the pregame, that we think Bradley Chubb and something else can warrant a first. Do you still make the trade?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, you're never going to get that back in a compensatory pick. You're going to get a 3rd rounder at best for Bradley Chubb if you move him if you lose him in free agency. Maybe a tag and trade next year. But if there's a 1 involved in this, and I think it's Chubb and something else to get you the 1. Okay, I know Mason and I had that conversation this morning, but whatever it is, if there is a 1st rounder involved, you do the deal for Bradley Chubb. And that's, to me, is a no-brainer for George Paton. Doesn't matter that you won today. It didn't really matter this game at all. But move Bradley Chubb. If there's a 1 involved, do it.
Anyone else?
The game today, the win, here's what the win did today. If you are dealing Bradley Chubb, and if it was in doubt, not only did you get a 1, but you probably got more because of the win. Because you don't have to do it. You don't. You could keep him if you wanted to. I don't know how committed they are to winning the rest of the year. I mean, this will be interesting. This will be an interesting conversation. Because at 3-5, I mean, you're not out of it. You're out of it at 2-6. You're hanging on by a thread at 3-5. It's not as easy of a decision right now with Bradley Chubb. I think they should deal him. And the fact that they can get a 1st-round pick right now, to me, is amazing. But they're going to have some interesting conversations about it over the next 48 hours. Because if you want to win this year, you got to keep Bradley Chubb. If you want to win this year. So it would have been a lot clearer had they lost this game.
The long-term health of this franchise is much more important than this year. I hope that George Paton makes that decision.
We'll see. It'll be interesting.
That's a good point, Cecil. Appreciate you hopping on with us here on Postgame Live.
Peace.
Awesome. Cecil Lammy right there. DMac. Who else? We talked to Alberto. We talked the wide receivers. Is there anyone else that you could see? Melvin Gordon, I guess we also talked about, but people are interested to see how this complicates the trades now. So is there anyone else that you could see still being on the market?
Well, they'll take anything for Alberto, obviously. So that's not a big deal. Golly, man. There will be interest in KJ Hamler and Jerry Jeudy. Both of these guys, these have been the 2 best offensive players for the Broncos, along with Greg Dulcich. Okay, so, teams are going to be interested. The Broncos are 3-5. They're going to get calls about Hamler and Jeudy. No doubt about it. Chubb is in a different sort of scenario because, his contract's expiring, and to tag him, Rachel, it's north of $20 million. In fact, Bradley Chubb is going to get paid. Yeah. He is going to be making next year, Rachel, more than $20 million a year. He's already making more than 12 right now. So, hey, good for Bradley Chubb, man. I'm happy for that guy. He's worked hard to come back from injury. To me, that's kind of a no-brainer. If you get a good enough deal, you actually do deal Bradley Chubb. They are going to be tempted to keep him. I think it would be silly to trade Jerry Jeudy or KJ Hamler. What are you going to have for offensive weapons for Russell Wilson? Yeah. And you don't have to do it. And you're not going to get big-time compensation for these guys either, Rachel. It's going to be an assortment of like 3rd, 4th round picks. So, unless somebody out there is going to give you a 1st round pick for Jerry Jeudy, I just wouldn't do it. If you can get a 1st round pick from Jeudy, if you can get multiple 2nd picks for Hamler, well, actually, let me take that back. I wouldn't trade Hamler no matter what. All right. It would have to take 1st round picks for me for Hamler, which you're never going to get. I doubt you're going to get 1st round picks for Jeudy, so I'd probably keep them both. And Chubb, I would deal if you can get a first rounder.
I think for anyone, if you're able to get a first round pick, then yes, you take the deal because, like Cecil said, the future really does matter over this season. There's a 9% chance the Broncos making the playoffs with this win. But KJ Hamler did say to the media, we've got 9 games left. We can't let off the pedal now. We got to try to win out. All it takes is one, and that was one.
I will tell you this, though, Rachel. They won today because they did play differently than they've played all year. So
they went basic.
Yeah, they just played quicker. They were more committed to the run, especially in the red zone. And they survived a horrific start of this game. So they actually do have a blueprint now to how to win more games and score more points. Okay? Had they come out in this kind of hurry up, run heavy, committed thing in the beginning of this game, they would have fared much better in the beginning. It wouldn't have been as bad. But look what they did. I mean, they were, kind of the same old, stupid, same old. And they got punished for it. And they did adjust. Good for them as the game went on. Because that game, the way it started, Rachel, we could have been talking about like a 30-3 game. Rachel, we could have. It could have gone in that. It certainly was headed in that direction.
I tweeted that they should have benched Russell Wilson. Looking back now, not my best tweet, but it was also it's a 50-50.
Rachel, they went through 4 drives, and Russell Wilson had an 11.7 quarterback rating, and they didn't have a first down through 4 drives. So, I mean, it's not looking good. And I'm telling you, that interception by Justin Simmons, they're down. If they don't get that, they're down freaking 14-0, and the game is done. I mean, you just cannot overemphasize how big that actually was. Absolutely huge. And really, fortunately, they adjusted after that. And the Jaguars are a dumb team, man. They are dumb. Boy, do they got issues there. So, okay, that's not – if you're down – if you're playing like that against the Chiefs, the Chargers, I mean, frankly, Rachel, the Ravens, I mean, look at the opponents they have coming up. I don't know. Maybe you get away with that against the Panthers, but against any of these other teams, Rachel. Oh, there we go. Tennessee, no. Vegas, maybe. They're a bad team. Carolina, maybe. Ravens, no. Kansas City, no. Arizona, maybe. Chargers, no. Kansas City, Chargers. I don't know, man. You can't play like that in the beginning. You can't. If you play like that in the beginning, you might win 2 more games the rest of the season. Okay, you're looking at a 5-12 season if you play like that at the beginning of the game. You stay away from that, and you more or less just paste and copy what you did in the second half, third quarter, fourth quarter. You had a 98-yard drive, Rachel. That was incredible. How did that happen? Just incredible. And by the way, that wasn't a lucky drive either. That wasn't like, terrible penalties by the Jags or, miracle things or lucky stuff. That was just a really good, solid, balanced, organized drive. Really good.
Absolutely. Was this the most complete game we've seen from this Broncos team?
No. They probably played better all in all. Actually, hold on. Let me think.
Is the 49ers game the better?
No, because the 49ers game, the offense was terrible. I mean, yeah, I guess, I suppose. I mean, it's still only 21 points, Rachel. I mean, it's not like, we didn't like break the bank open here. They scored more points against the Raiders. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you cannot discount, Rachel, how horrible they were at the beginning of this game. I mean, most complete, I don't know. But, hey, listen, here's the key, though, too. You hear this cliche, 60 minutes of football. Rachel, very, very few teams play 60 minutes of great football, okay? Very rarely. What you really need to do is play really well situationally when it matters. You actually don't have to play 60 complete minutes. Nobody plays 60 complete minutes. But what you need to do is convert things when they really matter to win games. And the Broncos did that, and you need to win and give away, take away, and they did that too, especially with that last interception of the game. So they didn't play a full, complete game, but they did make very big plays when they mattered the most. And that is the difference between oh, we were this close, almost touchdowns, ATDs, and winning a game. And they have had a lot of close games. That is true. So today they were able to make big plays when it mattered most, and the close game went their way. And good for them, man, because I can't even imagine. They were there forever, Rachel, over there in England. And now everybody will be doing high knees on the plane when you get home. I mean, that'll be a funny thing now. That'll be cool. We can have a laugh about it. You know, you can have a good time about it. You saw Draymond Jones and Bradley Chubb sitting cross-legged having tea. You know, I mean, that's all that stuff now is funny and good. It's a great sigh of relief for the team, for the fans. Hackett saves his job. Hey, cool. I'm not here to see people get fired. I don't like to see that. I don't want to see that. You just needed some better results, and we saw it today.
What was the main key that they were able to fix? Like, what was the difference between what we've seen the past couple of weeks and today? Is it just really the run game?
The turnover in the play, the turnover in the play of the pass defense, basically. You know, because you just did not allow who's going to be a very good quarterback at Trevor Lawrence. You didn't allow him to, you know, get away with anything. So you kept pressure on him. I don't think he got, let's see, how many sacks did they get on him? Hold on, I got it. So he only took 2 sacks, Rachel, 2. Okay. 2 sacks. But hold on. Let's see. Quarterback hits. And only 2 quarterback hits. So, man, I mean, you know, hey, man, you got to prop up the secondary, really. I mean, they got a certain amount of pressure on him, but, gee, he could not get anything going. They got 2 huge interceptions, 18 of 31 for $133, only 4.3 per pass. Rachel, come on, man. That is props on secondary specifically, yeah.
Oh, wow. Nathaniel Hackett going to the podium, which means I'm assuming there was a little bit of a celebration in the locker room because usually he's pretty good at getting right out there after the game. Is this win worth celebrating, or is it just a step in the right direction?
It's probably both, Rachel. It's.
Can you have both though? Can you have both?
Yeah. Because listen, the one thing we've heard defending Hackett is it's only 7 games. He's just getting going. You know, you're learning, you're developing. So yeah. Now you've got yourself a signature big win on the road, really on the road, and that is super duper important. Okay, so that's a step in the right direction if you want to be an optimist, Rachel. So if you just want to say the Jags stink and it was a lucky win against a lousy team, then you're just a negative type of person, you know. And okay, and if you want to be like that, I understand that argument too. I'm going to stay optimistic about it because is it a dip or a decline for Russell Wilson? You know what, Rachel? It's probably somewhere in between. He's got to figure a better way to do things. And it looked like it was much more like the Russell Wilson that was successful in Seattle than this type of Russell Wilson, Rachel, does not get you to the Hall of Fame. Okay. This type of play, the way you handle things, but it'll probably get you more wins. Now, do you need Russell Wilson to manage a game like this? Actually, no, Rachel. You actually don't. There's a lot of quarterbacks that could do this. But you got to figure out how to win with Russell Wilson first, Rach, or what the hell do we got? I mean, you don't have a choice. He didn't do anything extraordinary. Mm-hmm. You probably way overpaid for the production that you're going to get from Russell Wilson, but whatever. You know, he's your guy. And experience means something. The ability to lead a comeback means something. And he has, you know, he has that. But listen, I know. Well, here's what people are going to say, Rachel. You're under center, inside of the red zone, and you simply just handed the ball off. And that resulted in scores. And rightfully so, people have been questioning why hadn't you done that? This is what gets interesting as a debatable point. Rachel, had they done what they did, how many of those 5 losses are actually wins? And that's an interesting question.
And really what they did is they just went back to the basics, and that worked for this team. So is the offense just completely overcomplicated? And if they go back to the basics, are we going to see more W's on the schedule?
Well, likely yes. And they scored with Latavius Murray in that situation and Melvin Gordon. Okay.
Speaking of Latavius Murray, 2 London touchdowns. Good for him.
Yeah. I'm gonna guess that's a record. I'm going to guess there's never been a player in NFL history who has 2 rushing touchdowns in England in one season for 2 different teams. I'm gonna guess Latavius Murray is now in the record books.
Okay. Well, this schedule definitely still has its tough moments. We've got quarterbacks like Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, and such. So how confident do you feel in this Broncos team that we're at least on the right track?
So. I mean, like, you can't have relapses like you had at the beginning of the game. You've got to be more consistent. And clearly, you've got to average more than 20 points a game the rest of the way to give yourself a shot. But because the defense is this good, and boy, this is if you want an argument to keep Bradley Chubb, to not deal him, this is it right here. If you really do think your offense can score 20-plus points a game, like 20 to 24 points a game, you really do have a shot against a bunch of other teams as long as you can score more than 20, because this defense is going to hold most teams to under 20 points. They are. So, but I don't know if you can do that without Bradley Chubb. You don't have Randy Gregory back yet, and you won't have Baron Browning back. If you want to do that for the rest of the year, Rachel, you got to keep Bradley Chubb. And that's why this is going to be it would not have been a hard decision had they lost this game, Rachel. It wouldn't have been. He'd just be gone. Now it's actually a tricky decision. It is.
This win complicated a lot of things, but Russell.
Yeah, you know what, Rachel? I'm going to turn around here a little bit. I'd keep him. Okay. Period. Okay. Your window with Russell Wilson to win is short, and so what if you have to franchise tag him or figure out a different deal? You don't have a first-round pick anyway. And if you do get a first-round pick, it's going to come from a team like the Rams or somebody else, Rachel, who's going to be a playoff team. You're going to be drafting in the 20s. So, is it really that big of a deal? Really? I know Bradley Chubb is a high-quality player. I know he's going to get $20 million. I think the Randy Gregory signing is looking a little shaky right now. I got to be honest with you, Rachel. Not only would I probably sign or keep Bradley Chubb and not trade him, I'd probably offer him a deal to keep him a Bronco. That's what you were going to do with him in the first place. That is why you drafted him at 5 overall. It wasn't your plan because that was John Elway, not George Payton, but you kind of inherited that plan. And Bradley Chubb's been really effective this year. And he's going to get, Rachel, $20 million from somebody. That he has done it. Good for Bradley Chubb. He has earned that. So why not keep him? So I would keep him. I would give him a new deal. I would extend him.
I said franchise tag him all along, but Russell Wilson and his crew took to Twitter with this video. Roll it.
What an amazing game, man. What a battle. Defense, offense. KJ made some big plays. Line blocked your butt off. Everybody kept making plays. And what a special game. Gotta love London, baby. Broncos country, let's ride.
Broncos country, let's ride as we bring in our very own Jake Shapiro. Jake, what do you have to say?
All right, real quick. Golly, man. Why does it got to be Russell? Hold on. Why does it got to be Russell Wilson's Twitter? Why can't that just be from DenverBroncos.com? Why? You're killing me, dude. I want to like you so much. I want to have your back so much.
I know you didn't see it, DMac, but it was cool to watch him on the ESPN postgame walk out there, Broncos country, let's ride, baby. And then he walks out of the stadium and the Broncos fans there are giving him a standing ovation. That was cool. I'm with you. When he does it on his own Twitter, not as cool.
No, so not as cool.
Yeah.
So much, kind of bizarrely manufactured and just geez, man, even in this win, you got to do that. You got to still do that stuff. Who is talking to Russell Wilson's people? He's going to get Let's Ride out there. He's going to have videos taken of him. It's all going to happen. Why are you just stop with that?
Before
Stop
Rachel asks me
all
the
of that.
question, DMac, here you go. Tyree Cleveland is just taking to Twitter. What y'all say about 3? Broncos country, let's ride. And we doing high knees on the plane.
Yeah, but that's what I said. Now that you won, you can make a joke of it. Now you can have some fun with it. Now here we go. But be careful. Be careful. Because Vic Fangio got cocky after beating the Cowboys and was telling Mark Kisla to have Kellen Moore to pound sand. You just be a little careful here, all right? Have fun. I want you to have fun, but don't be arrogant about it. And I'm not saying what Russell Wilson did just there is arrogant. But if you told me that he went into the tunnel, his video team said, hey, we didn't get it. Can you go back out? And he went back out to shoot it. That wouldn't surprise me either. So I'm gonna assume that was organic. I'm gonna assume that was, I don't know who from Russell Wilson's team gets field access after the game to do that. But I mean, whatever. As I roll my eyes, listen, if you win, you can do anything. If you win, it's all fun. If you win, we're bonding together. I'm telling you, man, Tebow couldn't play quarterback and all of his teammates loved him when they were winning. That's the way it goes. I think it's risky. I think it's tricky. I think it's complicated unnecessarily. But okay, fine. Win the game, have some fun. So yeah, I expect to see high knees on the plane being tweeted out by some of the guys. I expect the whole team to do some high knees at some point and say a little how do you do to Justin Tucker. By the way, that video with Justin Tucker, when I saw it this morning, had over 4.3 million views. So yeah, it's time to probably clap back a little bit. I mean, a little bit.
I think we need an over-under on how many times DMac has said "I mean" in this post-game show because it's got to be a good number. Jake, what'd you hear from Hackett?
Yeah, we just heard from head coach Nathaniel Hackett. Big shout out to Denver7 for being on the scene there in London. He dodged the question about saving his job. That was very interesting. Kind of credited the team, said they got back to work, was proud of his team. He says the win means that they can coach them harder now next week when they return to work, which was really interesting. He said, we got to get that out of our game, referring to the penalties, said that one of the 12 penalties, whatever they had, was something that specifically had a presentation on Friday, and still they had that exact penalty show up. He didn't want to throw anyone under the bus. And then what I found interesting too, and I know you guys have talked about it, is Greg Dulcich has been a breath of fresh air for this offense, has made this offense look a little bit differently. Nathaniel Hackett was very complimentary of Greg Dulcich, said he's added something in the run game that they haven't had in terms of dynamic pass catcher, ability in the run game, obviously a shot at Alberto, so, and we've all seen it. So interesting comments, I think, across the board from Nathaniel Hackett. And honestly, pretty stern, obviously happy, excited to get back on the flight, come home, but I didn't sense a lot of joy coming from him.
I mean, he's still under a little bit of scrutiny. It's one win with the toughest part of the schedule ahead of them. So it's going to be interesting. Jake, appreciate you hopping in with us. James is in London, which is why he's not joining us here on the post-game show. But DMac, a win is a win. We're going to take it. I do have a comment, though, from some people wondering whose head is behind me. So let me grab this real quick. This is Gabe Landeskog's head that I got from the home opener when they lifted the banner. So I have a lot of people wondering who this was. So I figured I would answer the comments. Maybe he could provide some winning insights for this Broncos team to keep going. So, DMac, a win is a win, 21-17.
I'll take it. I'm happy. I thought the Jaguars were going to win, and you certainly see why I had that prediction. But there were a lot of people that just said the Broncos are going to win. And they'll all take victory laps. But they had the Broncos winning for the strangest reasons. They're just going to win because they're playing that. This was an any given Sunday prediction for a lot of those people. They didn't have any better sense of what was going on than people picking the Jags to win. The Jags got their own problems for sure. So the Broncos do not get away with this against a good team. And the Jaguars are not a good team. Okay. I don't think the Jets are a good team though either, Rachel. and the Colts aren't a good team. Okay. So those are three just like not good teams that the Broncos have recently played. And they beat the Jaguars, but they lost to the Colts, who have benched their starting quarterback since last time we chatted. And the Jets, and I think the Jets will start, coming down to earth here relatively shortly. So the most quality win the Broncos have probably is against the 49ers still. But that being said, I'm not going to take away the fact that they had to come from behind in the fourth quarter with less than 5 minutes to go. They had to do that, and then they had to have a defensive stop, and they did both of those things. That is huge. And what happens at the end of the game matters so much more than what happens at the beginning of the game, okay? If you're going to play crappy, Rachel, lousy, just get it out of your system. You may as well do that as early on as you possibly can. And that's what happened today. Whereas the Jaguars, it was the exact opposite. They played their worst football later in the game, not in the beginning of the game. So I'll take it this way.
Jerry Judy saying, I love London, man. And boy, oh boy, today's attendance of 86,215 is the largest crowd in the history of the NFL International Series in the UK. Broncos fan showing out just like you all did here on Postgame Live. We can't thank you all enough for rolling with us for the past 45 minutes as the Broncos get a win 21-17 over the Jacksonville Jaguars. They go on their bye week and hopefully can return and get some more practice. And I guess according to Hackett, it's going to be a little bit harder for them and get a win in 2 weeks. 2 weeks against the Tennessee Titans, 11 a.m. That's going to do it for DMac and I, Cecil Lammy, Jake Shapiro. Everybody, thanks for hopping on with us. And we'll see you tomorrow morning, 10:30 a.m. Let's break down a little bit more of this Broncos win. Bye, everybody.